Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to yet another video. Following on from last week's video, which was Klopp's first ever Liverpool XL, we will be looking at Pep Guardiola's first ever Manchester City XL. Guardiola's first ever competitive game for Manchester City was against Sunderland in the opening day of the 2016-17 season. In this video we will take a look at that starting 11 and where they are now. Goalkeeper, Willie Cabierro. When Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City, one of the first things he done was drop Joe Hart as his first choice goalkeeper. This gave Willie Cabierro the chance to be the first choice goalkeeper, only for a short while because Pep Guardiola signed Claudio Bravo from Barcelona a few weeks later. But a few months down the season, after poor performances from Bravo, Willie Cabierro was reinstilled as the first choice goalkeeper and ended the season with 17 league appearances. At the end of the season, he left for Chelsea, where he was also mainly the second fiddle goalkeeper. In his 4 seasons at the club, he was mostly a cup keeper with the occasional league appearance. The 2020-21 season would turn out to be his last one at Chelsea, where he won the Champions League in his final game as an unused sub. Then after being a free agent for a while, he signed for Southampton on a 1-month contract in December 2021. This was after Southampton's main 2 goalkeepers suffered injuries, and despite only making 4 appearances for Southampton in all competitions, he signed a 1-year contract extension earlier this month. Right back, Bakary Sagna. Sagna was just one of many players who left Arsenal to join Manchester City in the early 2010s. But Pep Guardiola's first season at Manchester City would indicate his last season at the club. Upon his contract expiry, he was not offered a new contract and moved to Serie A side Benevento. The newly promoted side was playing their first ever season in Italian top-flight football, but Sagna's time at the club was unsuccessful as he made 13 league appearances and was relegated. This would indicate his final season in European football as he moved to MLS side Montreal Impact. He was at the club for 2 years and won the Canadian Championship in his final season in 2019. At the end of that season, he announced his retirement at the age of 36. Centre-back, Kolarov. Although primarily a left-back, Kolarov often filled in at centre-back, and this was no different in Pep Guardiola's first competitive game in charge. However, just like Sagna, this would turn out to be his last season at the club as he left at the end of the summer for Roma. He played at the club for 3 seasons and played over 40 games in all competitions each season. In the 2018-19 season, he even made the Serie A Team of the Year. Then for the 1920 season, he joined Antonio Conte's Inter Milan, and despite spending most of his time injured or on the bench, he left the club having won the Scudetto. Last season, Kolarov only made 3 appearances, and earlier this month he announced his retirement. Centre-back, John Stones. John Stones was one of the first ever signings Pep Guardiola made at Manchester City. He arrived at the club for £50 million from Everton, which at the time made him the second most expensive defender of all time. But despite the high expectations, his time at the club has been up and down as he has struggled for injury and form. However, in the 2020-21 season, he had a huge revival as he formed a solid centre-back partnership with Ruben Diaz as Laporte was injured for most of the season. He helped the club win the league and also made an appearance in the PFA Team of the Year. However, last season it was once again difficult with John Stones as he only made 14 appearances in the league, with Laporte and Diaz being Pep Guardiola's first choice centre-back pairing. Left back, Gaël Clichy. The 2016 season would also end up being Clichy's last at Manchester City, and this was despite him being the first choice left-back, making 39 appearances in all competitions. In 2017 he joined Turkish side Istanbul Başakşehir, and his time at the club was a successful one as he won the club's first ever Turkish league title with other ex-Premier League stars such as Skrtel and Dembaba. Since 2020 he has been playing at Swiss side Servette, for whom he only made 5 appearances last season. Central midfielder, David Silva. Arguably City's greatest ever player, David Silva received a lot of praise from Pep Guardiola, who even stated that he came to the club to work with him. And Silva certainly lived up to the high praise, winning Manchester City's Player of the Season in the 16-17 season. He would go on to win 2 more league titles at the club and even made the PFA Team of the Year in his final season, despite Manchester City having an underwhelming season. Upon his contract expiry at Manchester City, David Silva returned to his native Spain for Real Sociedad despite links to Lazio, and he's been at the club ever since, helping Real Sociedad win their first major trophy since 1987. In August 2021, he was given a statue outside Manchester City's Etihad Stadium along with Vincent Kompany. Central midfield, Fernandinho. Fernandinho was a key figure under Pep Guardiola and has received a lot of praise from him. Pep Guardiola was quoted saying, "If a team has 3 Fernandinhos, they would be champions." And not only was he an amazing CDM, he showed his versatility by playing centre-back in the 1920 season after Laporte was injured early on in the season. He also became the club captain in September 2020 when David Silva left the club. He left the club at the end of last season, having won 5 Premier League titles, 6 League Cups and 1 FA Cup. On the 28th of June 2022, Fernandinho returned to Brazilian club Atlético Paranaense. Right wing, Raheem Sterling. No manager has been more influential in Sterling's career than Pep Guardiola. Having arrived at the club from Liverpool as a tricky winger, Pep Guardiola turned him into a goal machine. In the 1920 season, he scored a career-best 20 league goals and scored 120 goals in all competitions for Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. However, with the arrival of Jack Grealish and the emergence of Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling found his playing time reduced. He therefore made a decision to leave Manchester City this summer and join Chelsea for nearly £50 million. His time at Manchester City was filled with trophies where he won 4 league titles. Centre attacking mid, Kevin De Bruyne. KDB has arguably been Pep Guardiola's best player in his Manchester City tenure. He has been in the PFA Team of the Year 4 times since Pep Guardiola's arrival. Add to that, he has 2 Premier League Player of the Season awards. At the age of 31, he shows no signs of slowing down, scoring a career-best 15 league goals last season. As well as that, he managed 8 assists in the league, and surely this number will increase with Haaland having arrived this summer. Left wing, Nelito. Just like John Stones, Nelito was one of Pep Guardiola's first signing at Manchester City when he signed him for £13.8 million from Celta. However, he left after just 1 season, stating that him and his family were unsettled by life in England. He then moved back to Spain for Sevilla and played 2.5 seasons there. And in June 2020, he returned to Celta, where he has been ever since. Striker, Aguero. If David Silva isn't Manchester City's greatest player of all time, then it must be Sergio Aguero. He is the club's all-time goal scorer and holds the record for the most Premier League hat-tricks with 12. He played 5 seasons under Pep Guardiola and managed 20 goals in all competitions for 4 of them, and this is despite spending large chunks of every season out injured. In his final season at the club, Pep Guardiola opted to play without a striker, which meant that Aguero spent most of his time on the bench. Despite reaching the Champions League final, unfortunately, he was not able to leave with a winner's medal. He then left the club in the summer of 2021 and joined Barcelona. However, his move to his dream club was far from ideal. In a game against Alaves early on into the season, Aguero was seen clutching his chest and complaining about chest discomfort. After taking multiple tests at the hospital, he was diagnosed with cardiac arrhythmia. And on 15th of December 2021, Aguero announced his retirement from football on the advice of doctors. But in April 2022, Aguero said that he refused to rule out return to football in the future. And that was it for today's video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to like, comment and subscribe.